Today's video is brought to us by Sonoran Desert Institute. If you're like most gun owners who like to repair and upgrade your own firearms, well, why not take that passion and turn it into a career? SDI is a distance learning institute, and all of the materials and tools are shipped directly to your door. They have classes on ballistics, gunsmithing, armorers courses, and even drone classes. You can get your certificate or your degree and take that step now. Check out the link down below and in the pinned comment, sdi.edu. And thank you to the Sonoran Desert Institute for making today's video possible. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate your time. Thank you for watching. I want to thank all of the people who have commented and liked the video from yesterday in which I discuss Tulsi Gabbard and her change on the Second Amendment and whether or not it can be trusted. Thank you to everybody who's commented. It seems most people seem to believe the same way I do and want her to prove it. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch that video. Did get a couple people who were big mad, but that's exactly why I made the video, because some people have blinders on and will believe anything they're told. So let's get to the next thing that I wanted to discuss that came out yesterday, because people will believe what they're told. We have a couple days leading up to the election, and the anti-gunners have rolled out old dusty Bill Clinton, who, if you are not familiar, if you're a younger voter or a younger gun owner, he is the president who signed the assault weapon ban in 1994. Now, we'll start with listening to what Bill said, but I'm going to tell you real quick, what he's done is what people have been doing for a while, and it's all too common, is they will compare making gun or treating guns the same way we treat cars, because cars are regulated and cars are dangerous, but we did things to cars to make them safer, and we should do it to guns. Well, one of them you have a right to, and the other one you don't. So let's hear what Bill says, and then I'm going to come right back.
Guns are now the leading cause of death among children and teens. But the last time a machine was killing so many kids, it was the automobile. And we actually did something about it. Let me explain.
It is a strange contrivance. It is the automobile.
The introduction of the automobile to our communities was an amazing and drastic change for Americans. But this incredible technology was also extremely dangerous. In the 1920s, 60% of deaths from automobiles were children under the age of 9. There were no stop signs or street lights, no speed limits or seat belts. We learned from those tragedies, and as cars changed, so did our laws. We made the roads safer. We made the cars smarter. We created laws to prevent drunk driving. We made everybody take a driver's test to get a driver's license, and it worked. When this country was founded, a musket could fire only 3 rounds a minute. Today, an AR-15 can fire more than 45 rounds a minute. Does all that sound familiar? I grew up in this culture. I was 10 years old when I first got a .22, 14 when I first fired a .410 shotgun. Most of those people would never do anything to endanger an innocent life. They have been terrified into thinking that if they agree to the most simple, straightforward, obvious, non-interfering mechanisms, somehow it's the beginning of a slippery slope that will rob them of their Second Amendment rights. It's not true. In 1994, I signed an assault weapons ban and a magazine limit.
Because if the American people do not feel safe on their streets, in their schools, in their homes, in their places of work and worship, then it is difficult to say that the American people are free.
The bill was supported by Democrats and some Republicans. You know what happened next? Mass shootings went down, a lot. It was part of a 25-year low in crime and a 33-year low in the murder rate. In fact, a recent study found that Americans were 70% less likely to die in a mass shooting during the decade the assault weapons ban was in effect. Then Congress let the assault weapons ban expire in 2004, and they went right back up, those mass shootings, and they've just kept going. You remember those Geico commercials with the caveman? You know, it's so simple, even a caveman could understand it. Well, it is. Fewer assault weapons equals fewer deaths. You don't just have to take my word for it. When I signed the assault weapons ban into law, 3 former presidents, Jimmy Carter and 2 Republicans, Gerald Ford and Ronald Reagan, wrote a letter to Congress in support of it.
I do believe that an AK-47, a machine gun, is not a sporting weapon.
They called it a matter of vital importance to the public safety. They were right then, and they're still right today. We must act now. Enough is enough.
All right, so that's former President Bill Clinton, and I'll just start off with saying I wholeheartedly disagree with his premise. What he didn't tell you is that crime during the assault weapon ban and how the assault weapon ban made almost no impact at all. Crime was coming down anyway because of the way the country was at the time with laws, and people criminals were being treated like criminals, and people who should be held responsible for things were being held responsible, and it was a different time. We're not like that anymore, which is why crime is skyrocketing. You don't have the right to a car, okay? That's why government can regulate those, because if you look at the Constitution, right there is no mention of a car. You have the right to keep and bear arms. It's in that document. And Bill Clinton says they didn't, muskets could only fire 3 rounds in a minute. No, they had things that were shooting much faster back then, but the Democrats don't want people to understand that. Guys and gals, see through the smoke. You have a right to keep and bear arms, and the government doesn't give it to you, nor does the government tell you how you can keep yourself safe, especially when they're trying to defund the police, who is supposed to be there to try to help you, but even the Supreme Court said that they have no responsibility to do it. They can't be held accountable for not doing it, which is why it's even more important, and why millions and millions of new gun owners are figuring this out for themselves, that you are your own first responder. When seconds count, help is often minutes away, and bad things can happen, including loss of life during that time. And I want to take every step I can to ensure that doesn't happen to me, my children, my neighbors, my loved ones. And that's what I'm asking you to remember, especially as you go into the polls. This is the time they're going to try to go after emotions. They want people to think that if we regulate a gun, maybe if we put a child's car seat on an AK-47, then people will be safe. That's not what they're after, guys and gals. They want to remove them from the populace. And if you want, go to this ATTN on Twitter and look at the comments. Well, actually, there's not a lot of comments. If you look at the tweet quotes, where people quote it with a tweet or tweet it with a quote, I don't use Twitter a lot. But you'll see there's a lot of people pushing this, and they're going after the emotion, and it's working. So, all right, bring this to you to bring clarity, to hopefully have people see through the BS, and for you all to be the mouthpiece for freedom in the Second Amendment. Share this video, talk about this clip, because the anti-gunners are all talking about it this morning. The truth is that we don't get our rights from government, and Bill Clinton's little gun ban, which ended up costing the Democrats dearly, did nothing to help reduce crime. You know why? Because criminals will always be criminals. And when you take away a good person's item, it doesn't stop a bad person from obtaining an item like that and doing bad things with it. And that is just a fact. Whether you're talking about guns or flashlights or whatever, guys and gals, bad people will do bad things, and laws don't stop them. So let me know what you think down below, and please watch that Tulsi video and see what you think. Until then, be safe, stay vigilant, and carry a gun to keep you, your friends, your family, your community safe. That's what the Second Amendment is for. That's what it has always been for, and that's what it will always be for. We don't get our rights from government. Take care.